Hey guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed the first part of my little deep dive. Thank you so much for the likes and just, watching it all. I know it's like a really long video, and I hope you guys are ready for the second part, because trust me, if you think the man's bad now, just wait. He gets so much worse. So fast forward now, it's kyouya's birthday, and in this episode, we see Erika getting really insecure and jealous over kyouya. In a way, they're both made for each other, but he's just low-key a bit more worse. Her friend San accidentally ends up kissing kyouya when cyclist accidentally bumps into them, and she's at his house meanwhile when this happens, because she's planning his birthday. See, that's the thing, this girl does so much for this guy without him even asking. And she would have to be oh, do you want to hang out? Or it's my birthday, you know that, right? She had to tell him it was her birthday for him to know. I get it, but she found out when his birthday was and planned a surprise for him in his house. But obviously she sees both of them kissing and she's a bit insecure that whole episode. But San tells her she has nothing to worry about, and Erika comes back to normal, but she's still a bit agitated because they never kissed each other up until now, since chapter 5 or 6. So she's oh, I want to be kissed. I cringe reading this. I can't believe I was into things like this back then. But he obviously kissed her, and she's yay, everything's great now. Then we skip on to chapter 19, and this is where we meet kyouya's sister, and here we learn a little more about him and why he is the way he is, because his sister is exactly kind of the same as him, and she is borderline a bit abusive, but it's shown as comedy in the series. And so she meets his sister and she wants to create a really good impression. He obviously doesn't like her, he does not live with them, and the sister wants to get to know Erika a bit more, so she invites her on a little mini date. They eat, and she's trying to see if Erika is really the woman for kyouya, because her and kyouya already talked about him already being in a relationship, and she was it's not worth it, you're a young age, you're not even serious about her, I bet. And kyouya's just shut up, mind your own business. So she invites Erika on a date to see what type of girl she really is, and she's prodding and making passive aggressive comments about her boyfriend. And she's oh, he's still a child, he's not even that serious about you. Erika and her make a bet, and all of a sudden kyouya gets a call from his sister being oh, hurry up, come to this place. And then he's why would I come to this place? Because she's oh, Erika's here, please come. And he rushes over, and turns out Erika is just sick after eating a lot of cake, because they had a competition, an eating competition. So by the end of the chapter, the sister really loves Erika, and in true shoujo fashion, she invites her to Kobe for the summer holidays to meet their mother. So throughout the manga so far, we kind of don't know much about kyouya's parents. All we know is they're divorced, and he does not live with any of them because his dad's too busy to come and meet the family, and he just ignores his mother. And in this chapter, Erika's really scared, how his mother's gonna be, but she's an alcoholic, and that's the most it comes to. But kyouya mainly hates her because he feels that she left him, because obviously he went to live with his father, and he just felt his mom just abandoned him in some sort of way. But he doesn't tell her anything, so Erika puts it upon herself to mend the family. She's I can fix him. So Erika tells kyouya to speak with his mother, get to know her a bit more, make up for the time they missed for all these years. And slowly the mother too comes out of her shell, and then they start talking and they have little conversations. And slowly, little by little, they start talking to each other. The next night, they're going to the firework festival, and this is where Erika loses her necklace, and she's no, the necklace that he gave to her as a collar. Yeah, the one that he called a collar, that one. And he's oh, it's fine, it was just cheap metal, it didn't mean anything to me anyways, I just bought it. Man, at least lie that I meant something to you. So why would you do this? And she starts looking for in the trash and he helps her. So that's like the holiday done. It was quick. Nothing like juicy happened. He was alright for the most part of it, kind of. And then comes chapter 22. If this man has not already pissed me off, he really does it in this chapter. So it started off with Takeru, his best friend, asking for Erika's help in running his cafe, which is not doing well right now because there's like a new cafe that's opened opposite them, which is taking all the customers. So he was wondering if Erika could work there so that they could get like more customers rolling, like more high school students, because he asked kyouya and he didn't want to do it. So Erika, like, you know, feeling bad for Takeru, and because he's always been there for her, like helping her throughout this relationship, she says yes. And Kyo's been a little bitch and he's been like, no, why would you do that? Like, I don't want you working here. It's like, you can't do that. Like, stop doing that. And she's like, you can't tell me what to do. Like, at the end of the day, I'm my own person. So she ends up working there. But the way in which he tells her not to do it, he's like, oh, no one's going to come in if you're there. It's like, why are you so rude? And so she starts working at Takeru's cafe and Kyoya is like fuming. He's like, how dare she go behind my back? So he decides to secretly visit like the cafe to see like how work's going. And that's where he sees her in a maid's outfit. And he is mad. And she is petrified. Okay, I'm telling people now, if you're in a relationship, that does not mean you should be scared of the person you're with. If you start feeling like that, it's not a relationship anymore. The way I saw the colours drain out this girl's face when she saw the man just standing there by the door, I was like, oh no. And he starts like kind of low-key like slut shaming her. He's like, oh, proper girls wouldn't do this is immoral. The outfit wasn't even that promiscuous. It was a normal dress on her. So he like grabs her by the hand, like throws her aside, and he starts screaming at her and tells her to like stop working here. And she's like, why? And he's like, oh, just the thought of my woman doing something so disgraceful makes me nauseous. It's like, who the hell are you to say that? And then, oh my gosh, this is where he's like, he low-key like, oh my god. He says, even though you keep claiming it's for Takeru or the shop's sake, aren't you just doing this because you want to be fussed over by all the guys? What the hell? Who fucking says that to their girlfriend? How is this man openly just slut-shaming? Like, obviously she's taken by surprise at this, but that day she goes home and she's like, oh, maybe I should stop working. Babes, this is how an abusive relationship starts. This guy is such a walking, talking red flag. Just take your rose-tinted glasses off now. But you know, this is a shoujo anime. It does not work like that. And so she tells herself, she said, oh, I'm going to see him the next day. I'm going to tell Takeru that I'm not going to be working here anymore because Kyoya is not happy. But when she comes in the next day, she sees Kyoya in a butler's outfit, serving tea. And obviously Miss Girl's a bit confused. She's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I've taken on your shift, so I'm swapping in for you. So he could do it, she can't. And when he does it, he's not doing for attention. But when she does it, no one could look at his girlfriend, even though no one has done anything to her like the moment she was working there. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I'm just like swapping in for you. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. And she's like, stop it. And he's more concerned she keeps on going on about Takeru more than like her apology. Not that she should even have to apologize in the first place. And she's like, oh my god, Kyoya, like I love you. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And then they just walk home. I just think this chapter baffled me so much. I was like, oh, I actually can't do this anymore. Why am I reading this manga? Because I think this just flew over my head when I read this manga when I was younger. Because I was like, oh, he is so like possessive. I love that. But now, at my age, reading this, oh, no. Then we move on to meeting Erika's cousin, Reena. Reena-chan, that's what she's known as, I think. I'm gonna call her Reena. I hate her. I genuinely hate her so much. Her existence is so pointless. Like, I don't know what, I feel like she's in this story just so that there's like a bit of spice to it. Because she is so freaking annoying. So Reena-chan is like the younger version of Erika, so they're really close, they're like a few years apart, and she is revising for the entrance exam to get into high school, so Erika's high school particularly, and she needs a tutor because she's not doing well. So Erika nominates kyouya as like a tutor so that he could help Reena and her revise, and her mother's like, oh, that's perfect, and kyouya, though not really like excited about it, agrees. But Reena-chan doesn't like kyouya at all, because bearing in mind I told her she's just like Erika. She likes to, lie. She likes to act like her life's way more interesting than it actually is. So the first few times her and Erika meet with kyouya, she doesn't get along with kyouya much. She's like, I have a boyfriend, and in a way acts like her relationship is better than Erika's and kyouya's. At this point, any relationship would be better than theirs. So Erika asks kyouya to be a bit more nicer to her after like their session. So kyouya is like a bit reluctant to follow like her instructions on that, but deep inside he's like, okay, maybe I'll do this for my girlfriend. He's slowly starting to soften up, and that night when he's like on his little like night walk, he sees Reena-chan with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend's like coercing her to do something, but she's like, no. And remembering Erika's like words, he goes up to Reena-chan and her boyfriend, and he stops him. He's like, can you leave her alone? And he's like, I'm her teacher. He lies, being like, yeah, I'm like her teacher. And the guy leaves her alone, and Reena-chan's like, oh, why would you do that? You think you're so cool now? And then like kyouya's like, not really, like I just like done this because Erika asked me to be nice to you. So he walks her home, and like the typical like pound the head, like that shoujo anime pound the head, he does that to her. And this is where our girl starts having a crush on kyouya. Yeah, who would have gathered? Who would have saw that coming? So she ends up having a crush on kyouya, and oh my god, she is so unbearable. So she starts to have feelings for him, and like the next few times she sees him, she's like trying to like flirt with him, and goes and tells Erika that she likes her boyfriend. And Erika's a bit taken aback. She's a bit like, what the hell? And oh my god, Erika's such a doormat. She is such a pushover. It hurts to see it. She's like, what? And Reena-chan's like, instead of just being like, oh, I have a crush on your boyfriend, like, I just wanted to tell you that, she's like, oh, I'm going to challenge you now. Let's see who he would choose between me and you. And it's a bit like, why? Girl, you are 13. Go do something else. It's like, do you not have studying to do? And she's like, oh, like, I love your boyfriend. Like, I want him to see. And Erika, being the stupid idiot she is, she's like, okay, then I accept your challenge. Let's see who he chooses. And then Reena-chan's like, okay, well, I'll be doing my best. It's like, Erika, do you not have any self-respect? That is your boyfriend. Your boyfriend. Not hers. Not for you to share. Your boyfriend. So as much as I hate kyouya, sometimes Erika brings this upon herself. Like, I really don't want to victim blame, but she really brings this upon herself. So Reena tries every trick in the book to get kyouya to hang out with her, and she proposes a history museum day, and she buys a ticket for her and kyouya, and Erika's a bit like, where's mine? And when they get home, Reena's like, you have him to yourself all the time, just let me do this, let me have a chance with him. And Erika, being the dumb bitch she is, she's like, okay, yeah, because he's my boyfriend, but like, I'll let you go on a date with him. Is he a toy? Anyways, and so they go on this date, and Reena's trying so hard for the for that little like hug, for the the little touch of his hand, trying to get close with him. She ends up falling on him, and he's a bit there like, what the hell are you doing? And she gets up, And the date is just so cringe, and Erika's watching from afar and she's like, oh my god, like they're getting like really close. But kyouya's not looking at her at all. So Reena decides to confess. She confesses that she loves kyouya, and he bluntly tells her that he does not like her. Like, she is just doing this because she wants it. She only likes the idea of him, she doesn't like him. And she's like, no, it's true. This girl even stalks him, finds his place, and like buys him stuff. And she's like, oh, why don't you like me? She comes into his house and she's like, why is it me? Like, why don't you like me? It's like, girl, do you not understand the assignment? He does not like you. And so she's like, wow, I can't believe you don't like me. And then like he puts her in her place, and she just runs off. She's like, oh, I hate you. And Erika's like obviously worried now because she's hearing about this from kyouya, and then she goes looking for her cousin. Everyone in this manga is just dickheads. So Erika finds her cousin and she's like, oh, I thought kyouya would come and find me. What? Okay. And Erika's like, no. And then kyouya's like, let me talk to her by myself. So they start talking, and she's like, okay, I've given up on you. I understand, like, I don't want to hurt Erika anymore. Yeah, you understand that now. And she's like, yeah, Erika's my favorite person. Kyouya's like, yeah, I guess she's mine as well. Like, that's why I don't want anything with you. You're a child. Like, enjoy your time, like, while you have it. And this girl goes and gives him a peck on the cheek. I'm sorry, I found that so weird. I just remember seeing that panel and I was just there like, what? He's taken by surprise, and she's like, okay, I've given up on you, bye. Why didn't you just tell him that, like, just from afar? Just tell him you've given up on him. Why are you kissing the man? Someone else's man at that. But after that, we don't see much of her. She just leaves. Thank God for that, because I did not like her at all. So Christmas comes and goes. Kyouya still being the same dickhead. And after New Year's, Erika starts gaining a bit of weight. But she tells herself it's fine. And kyouya would not even care. That's the first thing she thinks. She thinks about what her boyfriend would think of her. And you would think this man would at least have a bit of common sense to not say anything. But he goes up to her, grabs her arm, and tells her she's fat. And just this entire, it just gets worse as it goes. And through this entire chapter, she's just trying to lose weight, and she's telling herself, oh, I need to look pretty, I need to look good for him. Because she asks him, oh, if I'm not pretty, would you love me? And he's like, I don't care about looks. And you think he'll stick to it. But when she rebounds and starts eating again, he tells her that there's no difference between her and a pig. And obviously she's taken aback by this. I'm taken aback by this. And she's like, I thought you didn't care about how I looked. And he's like, yeah, but you didn't keep the promise. Go to hell with your promise, man. We all know why you actually called her that. And so Erika's like, oh my god, like I need to like lose weight, or else he's not gonna see me as like a potential partner anymore. And by the end of the chapter, she loses 7 kg and she feels so much happier with herself because she's now happy that she looks pretty for her boyfriend. And you really just start to feel bad for Erika, because in this chapter she just says all she wants to be is loved. But to be loved does not mean you have to change yourself. That's the main thing about being in love, because the person you're with would love you no matter what. But in this chapter, I don't know, it took me back, man. It took me back to like high school and like how like things were back then. And I know this is like just like a normal little shoujo anime, but the way this man, like even after like she loses all the weight, he calls her like a dog, and he's like, wow, now you think you're so much better. And it's like, what the hell is wrong with you, you absolute sociopath? Then Erika goes through like this little midlife crisis where she doesn't know what she wants to be when she's older. And at the end of the chapter, kyouya's like, oh, take your time, it doesn't matter, like even if you don't think of anything, I'll still be there, which was really nice of him. So I was like, oh, maybe he's changing, you know, maybe being around Erika is slowly softening him up, you know. But now they're in their final year of high school, and slowly they're gonna like start moving on. And Erika's like, oh wow, like I have to like think of like so many things to do, like I'm slowly becoming an adult. And so they're doing this end of year trip, but Erika does not have the funds to like buy anything for the trip, so she decides to get a part-time job. This is where she meets her childhood friend, and also a guy that asked her out back in middle school, called Terasaki. And meanwhile, kyouya's part of the committee as well for the third year like school trip, and he meets a girl called Yukari, and she is just like kyouya, so they kind of work well together. But throughout this part of like the series, we don't know if she kind of likes him, or she is definitely jealous of his and Erika's relationship, but she's like the quiet girl of the year. And even though Erika begs her to like swap positions with us so she could be part of the committee, she refuses and says to her that she wants to do it and Erika's just doing it for her boyfriend. So these are the two new characters in this section of the manga. And we slowly start to see Erika is kind of getting jealous of Yukari's and kyouya's like little relationship. And at first it's a bit like, oh, kyouya's spending a bit more time with her. And we see that kyouya kind of is starting to like spending time with like Yukari, and he's like, oh, you're just like me, and I guess like we're kind of like on the same wavelength. And Erika works part-time at a DVD store, so she wants to give a DVD to kyouya that he mentioned that he wanted. But when she comes to him and like gives him the DVD, he's like, oh, I already borrowed it from Yukari. And she is a bit taken aback by this, and she asks him, oh, why? Like, she thinks she's overreacting, but like her friends are like, no, just hold on. But Terasaki, the guy who still likes her to this day, is like, oh yeah, I think you were really overreacting. He does not like kyouya. Kyouya doesn't really like him as well, because he visits the shop and both of them don't like each other at first look. So the next day they're like drawing each other, and Yukari and kyouya is drawing one another because they're seeing opposite each other. And Erika's mad when she sees like Yukari touching like her man's. So she goes outside and she tells him that she's not comfortable with like their relationship and they should really stop. And she goes and tells this to Terasaki that day when they're working. And she's like crying to Terasaki, and Terasaki brings her head in and it looks like a hug. That's where kyouya comes and sees them. And he's a bit like, oh my god. But he doesn't say anything then, and then they walk home and he's like, oh, so you say I can't take a DVD from a girl and you go here like hugging men. kyouya goes on to say that men like that only like look after girls like her because they want to get into a relationship with her. And she's like, no, just because you were like that does not mean other men are like that. And kyouya's like getting really, really heated in this argument. And she says to kyouya, oh, I wish you were as understanding as Terasaki. And this is what our main lead has to say to that. Compared to a bitch like you, who's like a lump of self-centeredness, I get along with Yukari so much better. Erika's clearly upset by this, and then they don't talk for a while, so they're ignoring each other in school. And I don't know, Yukari takes this like as a sign to like go to kyouya and be like, oh yeah, why would he go out with someone like her? And it's a bit like, girl, mind your own business, while Terasaki's doing the most and being like, oh yeah, just believe me, like I'm so much better than kyouya. And he kisses her on the cheek, and Erika's taken aback by this and she does not know what to do, and she's trying to find a way to tell kyouya what happened without him getting mad. And I hated the next part of this chapter because she's the one who goes to kyouya and apologizes for being naive, even though it was both of their fault for not communicating with one another. And I don't know, it's just this relationship I feel like she's just the one trying to make this relationship go, and he's doing like the absolute bare minimum. But then they make up, and that day she tells kyouya that she wants to quit her part-time job, but she doesn't tell him the proper reason. And she goes to her manager and she's like, oh, I don't want to work here anymore. And Terasaki hears about this and he's like, oh, please, like just give me one more chance, let's go out this Saturday. And Yukari hears this And she's like, oh my god. And she's like trying to get on Kyouya's nerves, and she asks him if he wants to come under her umbrella when it's raining, and he said no, I'll walk by myself. And then he remembered Erika's words, and where she was like, oh, can you not be too close with her? And he tries to do that, and Yukari gets a bit defensive. She's a bit like, oh my god, you listen to her, but you don't know what she's been up to behind your back. And she tells him about how Terasaki asked Erika out on a date, bearing in mind Kyouya does not know about this. But the one question I have is, why is she so mad? Why? Because she says she doesn't want to get into a relationship, she doesn't like fake people. But why is she so into their relationship if she does not want to get with him? So that night, Erika goes to Terasaki and she tells him, oh, like, I don't think we'll be a good match because Kyouya is the one I want. And this man, oh my god, this part of the, like, manga, I was like, my mouth was open when I read this part. He slaps her. He slaps Erika and he's like, come to your senses, that man does not like you. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Erika's obviously really, really scared. And this man, Terasaki's like, you're being brainwashed by him. And he's like, you're gonna be unhappy. But what the hell? Who the hell are you to slap someone? And Erika's like, no, he's the man, like, that I wanna marry. He's my, like, love of my life. And then he comes to punch her again, but Kyouya comes and stops him. And there's this one panel in it where Kyouya beats up Terasaki, and he says, Erika belongs to me. What she wants doesn't matter. Get my approval if you want her. Is she not a person? Is she an object? The way the men around Erika treats her as like this toy that they could just pass around and they could just boss around. And whenever she does something for them, that's when she's useful. Like, if she doesn't do anything, or if she does not listen, or if she has like a mind of her own, then they don't want her. And our main lead, like, once they're walking back home, he goes on to say, oh, don't concern yourself with another guy from now on. Just have only me to look at. Got it? And she's like, yeah. And I just sympathize for this poor girl, because just the men around her are so horrid, and the men she's with is just equally, like, maybe he doesn't do what the other guys have done, or like maybe he's not as bad, or he doesn't like physically abuse her, but the emotional abuse this girl goes through is just so horrible. And then he kisses her and he's like, oh, let's go to my room now. And she's like, I'm on my period. And this man visibly gets angry. And like, why do you think you're entitled to this woman like this? Oh, he just pisses me off. Like I said from the start, if this man was not good looking, we would not have given a single shit about him. Now the students are deciding where to go for university, and Erika, like her auntie, wants to be a glass artist. But her mum said the only way she could pursue their career is if she goes to Kyoto University, which is considerably far from where she lives right now. And she had told Kyouya that she might go to one of the junior colleges there, and she'll be like near them as well. And now that her mum said the only way she could like pursue this career is if she goes like to that single uni, she is a bit scared of what Kyouya would say to this. But she ends up telling San like, oh, she's a bit nervous about like what to say. But San tells her, don't worry, he would understand. And she goes to Kyouya and she tells him, biggest mistake this girl could ever do. He's like, you can chase your dreams, do whatever you want, but if you go, then we're breaking up. And when I read this part, I was like, how can this man just stoop lower and lower every single time? And he's acting like he's the victim in this situation. He's like, oh, what you want has nothing to do with me. I don't want to be manipulated by your damn circumstances. The guilt baiting is so high in this manga. And he's like, oh yeah, like I could meet so many other women, like, oh, I could like always possibly cheat on you. And she's a bit like taken aback by this, and she apologizes to him and she's like, okay, thank you for coming tonight. And throughout like the rest of the manga, she's like, okay, maybe community college is the best for me. Maybe I'm gonna have to give up this dream for him. And he's like so not helpful in the situation, because he's like, yeah, do whatever you want, I don't care, you know, trying to make her feel bad. And she's visibly upset about this, and she goes and confesses this to San, her best friend. And oh my god, I love San so much because she's the only sane character in this entire manga. She meets with Kyouya that day and she apologizes in advance, and she slaps him. Slap his mum never gave him. And I don't condone violence like this, but oh my god, he was pissing me off. Like, okay, I don't condone violence. I don't agree with that. But oh, this man. And that, it took a slap for him to realize what he put Erika through was not right. And so he goes to Erika the next day and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, but if that's what you want, I'll stick with you. I was just only thinking about myself. And it's like, who the fuck are you to give anyone permission? Who the hell are you? It's like, oh, I hate Erika in this. I hate Erika so much because she's such a pushover. Like, I get it if she's relying on her boyfriend, but so relying on him to the extent of she was going to give up her dreams. Girl, he's not worth it. He's such a bland character without any personality. Like, I don't understand what she sees in him. He's so shallow. But I guess it works for some readers because this anime is so beloved that sometimes I think, oh my god, is what I'm reading like actually happening? Like, is this man really saying this? Is this man really doing what I think he's doing? But Erika gets accepted into Kyoto. Like, all of them get to where they want to be. And like during the ending like few panels, there's like a bit where she is remembering back like to the first year of like high school and how much she has came forward like since then. And she tells Kyouya that she loves him. And oh god, I cringed at this. Like, it was, I think I was gonna physically get sick because this man just never changes. He's like, Erika, Paul, and she woofs, she barks, and he's like, when I call you, come running, right? You always will. And he's like, am I wrong? And I don't know whose heart would beat if someone says this, but I think I'll genuinely start crying if I hear this. I'll start crying and I'll call the police because what the actual hell. But the series ends with them, you know, getting married. They have like a child now, and yeah, that is basically the end of Wolf Girl and the Black Prince. They get together and Erika is still happily married to Kyouya, a man baby that she looks after, and she has to make sure she has to communicate everything with him so that he understands her. I guess if she's happy, I mean, go for it. I think this manga just puts like two terrible tropes of like the good girl that could heal like any bad guy's wound, and the other trope of like the bad guy with like the heart of like gold. And it just doesn't work well together if it's just the girl putting in all the effort, and like Kyouya here is just, you know, just straight up just being a dick to her. And I feel like this anime/manga is such a terrible representation for like young girls out there who's just like hopeless romantics and want like a guy, and this is what they get. But reading this, they'll be like, oh, maybe I'm in the wrong, maybe my man's meant to be like this, maybe I'm meant to forgive him because he's just like cold inside, he just needs someone to listen to him. No girl, you're just getting gaslighted and manipulated, just leave. And I feel like this is such a terrible example to set, especially because it's as popular as it is. And even when Kyouya's like terrible past was like showed to us, I just could not bring myself to feel bad for him. Because, I don't know, he didn't do anything about his situation. He expected other people around him to come and apologize to him or come and make his life better than it already was. And him just being verbally abusive and being emotionally closed off and expecting Erika to do all the work was just so jarring to watch, because Erika would fall for it each time. She's willing to give up her dreams each time for this stupid man. And he'll be like, oh yeah, you're just trying to manipulate me. You're trying to make me feel like the villain in your story. But truly, who is the villain here, Kyouya? It's you, isn't it? So would I really recommend this manga to anyone? No, I wouldn't. I would recommend it to you if you want to like, you know, waste your time and just hate on a main lead, because those are rare to find. But there's some shoujo animes that you could just read and be like, wow, how are these people the main leads? And the only person I liked in this manga was San, because she stayed consistent from the start to the end. I just wished Kyouya changed just like this, because he remained controlling from the start to the end. And, you know, I just hope like young girls or like young boys who read this understand like this is not the right way to like be when you're in a relationship. I feel like use this manga as a reference of what not to do in a relationship, because there's so many other mangas out there that portrays romance in such a nice way, but I guess Wolf Girl and the Black Prince is just not it. I just wished Kyouya understood his ways and how it affected people around him and changed, but I guess he just didn't. And that is the end of my deep dive into Wolf Girl and the Black Prince. I hope you guys enjoyed it.